Yeah, it's quite remarkable that normally you have a war in the Middle East and the price of oil goes up, but as of this morning, Asian time, oil is about $8 a barrel lower than it was October 6th, the day before Hamas invaded Israel. And I think it's because of buildup of shale and oil in the United States. The U.S. is now by far, as no country has ever produced as much oil as the U.S. is producing. It's concerned about the economy. You're just talking about China. And then the attitude of oil exporters is very different than in the past. They're integrated the economy. But is what you just pointed to is so far the war has been contained. And the risk that it isn't contained is dramatized by what you just described by the Houthis basically attacking a U.S. destroyer in the Red Sea. And of course, a wild card is here's this absurd referendum in Venezuela wanting to take part of Guyana, which happens to be the fastest growing source of new oil in the world. So those two things underline the risk that's there that's just not reflected in the price of oil right now.
And why is that the case, Dan, you think?
I think it's for the kind of the reasons I cited. I think this growth of U.S. oil production, the U.S. is now 13.2 million barrels a day, way ahead of Saudi Arabia, way ahead of Russia. I think that's brought an element of stability. And then you've had production growing in Brazil, Guyana, which we've just talked about, and Canada. So really OPEC plus, we've seen what they've done on November 30th. They're putting new cuts in place because basically there's more supply coming into the market than demand, even though demand is growing.
But, the other argument is always with these voluntary cuts is enactment and also compliance, which many fall short of within OPEC plus. Maybe that's why oil prices are not as high as expected.
Well, I think that's a factor. I mean, the gap is really quite large, but I think there's always that question about compliance because remember, as you're suggesting, a lot of these cuts are voluntary. So the market is, and I think the market may be, has to sort out what it means. But basically, OPEC Plus is saying we're going to cut some more oil to try and get a floor under the price of oil and keep it above $80 a barrel.